All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Innovation Alchemy. Today, I'm joined by three incredible alumni of the ScaleUP Accelerator program powered by Libro. Thank you so much for joining us here. We have Jordan Goure from Picsume. We've got the amazing team from DuroByte over here, Curtis, Laurie, and of course, IPM Scoutek, Carrie, Izsak. Thank you so much for joining me. How's everyone feeling?
Good. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Amazing. So we're going to ask some questions today. We're going to go over kind of your scale-up journeys. But first, I want to know, how have your companies evolved since your journey with ScaleUp and the participation in our program? And maybe we'll start with you, Jordan.
Start left to right here?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. So our cohort was just last year. So December is when we did our pitch and we won the cohort. So we were excited. So since then, we've scaled up. I mean, pun intended. So we just closed the seed round in August. So we raised just over $1 million from private investment. And then we've also doubled up our government funding since then. So we've got IRAP projects fully funded now and also fully funded SHRED projects. So we raised just around $2 million since Scale Up, which we were excited to be a software company in this region doing that. A 7-figure raise with external investment was an exciting feather to put in our cap. And that's just money. It's the business that follows the money is what's key. And I think we'll talk about that a lot today. I'm not going to get into that just in the intro. So we use ScaleUp to help us get to these milestones.
That's fantastic. So Curtis, DuroByte, you're in the automation space. Tell us a little bit about your journey since ScaleUp.
Yeah, so ScaleUp was really the turning point or the tipping point when we transferred over from a controls exclusive organization all the way to the automated, company that we are today, where we're building turnkey automation for a variety of industries. So ScaleUp really was foundational in, getting out of our comfort zone and using the mentorship that ScaleUp provided and really going after the automation work. So yeah, that was great.
Very cool. Carrie?
ScaleUp was very instrumental in terms of the mentoring really helped to bring focus into the marketing part of that, which was our big focus given our software was already developed for the greenhouse industry. And those lessons I carry with us all along the journey. And today we're happy to announce that we're a global software supplier to the greenhouse industry. So we're in 4 continents in many countries and growing. So lessons learned really did help.
That's awesome. So I brought you all into the room together. We have a lot of alumni from this program, right? Over 40 companies that have graduated. But I want to take a look very specifically at the industries you serve. We have greenhouse here. We've got industrial automation here. And then you've got this layer underneath that involves the people side of it, hiring on people, making sure that you're retaining and attracting top talent. So let's start with the geographics of where we are in WindsorEssex. How has this region helped your business grow? And Carrie, we'll start with you on this one.
Sure. So we are the capital of precision growing in North America. So I've had the great fortune of traveling to different countries in Europe and North America. We should be so proud of the industry that we have built here. We are by far ahead of the game in most countries around the planet. So because I have access to these wonderful growers and owners of these businesses, they really provide a lot of insights. In fact, our feature development for our software is always driven by what the customer wants. So they're right at my back door. So this area is really important for what we do.
That's great. Yeah, it lets you tap right into the people that you're trying to sell to, right?
100%, yeah.
Now, from a manufacturing perspective, for the last 200 years, we've been a region that makes things, right? But I think your company and companies like yours in automation represent a shift that's happening across the local region. Tell us a little bit about how your company is starting to evolve to kind of meet those new needs in manufacturing.
Yeah, so we're uniquely situated in Windsor, which is 4 hours from Toronto, the mecca of Ontario, and some would say Canada. And then we're directly across the border from Detroit, and we're servicing Michigan and Ohio, Indiana, all in the same day. So we're uniquely geographically positioned to do work in both countries. And we're also doing an extensive amount of work down in Mexico, where we're shipping machines down there, running off machines. And we have a fantastic, flight network that we can use in order to facilitate growth here in Canada.
That's awesome. And so Jordan, as a company who's working with both of these industries to help kind of retain and attract the talent that they need to continue growing, what's that been like for Picsume, and who have you tapped into in terms of early partnerships?
Yeah, so at Picsume, we like to say we're industry agnostic. I mean, everyone needs people and people need industry. But what's important there is like the demographics that we serve within these industries, right? Which is like transient workforce, hourly workers. We try to stay away from like anything that headhunters would, so expensive staff to attract, right? You're paying a headhunter to get a top level person. That one person, it might be $5,000 to $10,000 to attract that person. We try to build software tools for companies that need to attract a lot of people, summer work, part-time work in a lot of these industries. And honestly, being here in Windsor, as these two already mentioned, we have a ton of big industry here. And everyone tries to put us in like this automotive box. People forget about greenhouses. Obviously, as you know, I own a winery as well. So it's like I own a winery in one of the best wine regions in Canada. I obviously use my software for all of my other company hiring too. So I think that's kind of the bad rap Windsor gets, where it's like we're a one-dimensional region, which couldn't be the opposite. And the support you receive in this region, because we are a smaller region with a lot of industry, is a lot more per capita than you would get in a city like Toronto, for example, right? In Toronto, I might be competing with 50 software companies all trying to solve this people issue. Whereas in Windsor, we were one of the few companies that was tackling it with a unique way. And we get a lot of support because of that, because of being in this region.
I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves in, that the program too is we're able to offer you more one-to-one support and get really granular. Like, what are your challenges? What are the things that you're facing? And how do we help solve those? And I want to kind of touch on that, not so much from a program perspective, but just challenges that you faced as entrepreneurs out in the wild. And what are the things that you found to be the most effective ways to break through some of those pieces? So Jordan, I might start with you on that one.
Okay. I mean, yeah, being an entrepreneur is challenging. You got to get up every day and decide to go to work. You don't get paid most days you go to work, right? It's like, this is the whole point. I used to tell to people, like when I would mentor and help other people or students when I teach at the college, I would say everyone wants to be in business because they want freedom. They want to make their own destiny. They want to set their own pay, but they don't understand that those are all the things that you give up when you start a business, right? So it's like, so I think the most difficult part of running a company is just that, is every day you have to go to work and you have to decide to be there. And you're accountable for everything that you choose, everything that you do on a daily basis. So the reason I'm doing the things that I'm doing is because I'm trying to change something. I'm trying to change an industry. We're trying to disrupt, as you talk in tech. But the reason I'm really doing it is because I believe in what I'm doing every day. My team believes in what I'm doing. If they don't believe in what we're doing, then we wouldn't be here 4 years later, having just raised our first funds this year, right? So I think that's important. Like just like the mentality and the perspective of what you and your team have on a daily basis is probably one of the hardest things to overcome. But once you do overcome it, you build great products people are passionate about, and it really shows in your work.
Very cool. That's awesome, man. Now, Curtis, I know DuroByte's been around for a long time, but you're entering now new and interesting industries that you've never tackled before. What are some of the challenges of kind of convincing people, hey, there's value here in automation that you've never even imagined before?
Yeah, I think developing interesting tech is a great way to show new customers and new potential suppliers even that things are possible. So we can show them examples from different industries and go through cross-industrial analysis and looking at all the different applications that affect a specific industry and how those directly apply to their industry. So it's really unique. I think that we're learning a lot right now, and the global market space is promoting AI heavily in this environment, and we're utilizing that. And I think moving tech forward right now, our company is really positioning ourselves well to continue to grow. It is difficult to attract the right talent, but we are finding different talent that is able to take on these new challenges, as opposed to the stereotypical positions that you might find in an automation company.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're seeing a lot of like stigma get dispelled, right? This idea of like factories are dirty, working in these spaces are, really tough or really hard work, where it's like, that's not the case. There's a lot of technology that's enabling some really cool stuff in that space now. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we're seeing a lot of battery manufacturing, and we're, especially in this geographic area, we're seeing a lot of tech manufacturing where companies are coming up with, unique solutions on the tech side to solve problems that have typically been done in dirty, dusty, environments. I think the geographic space itself is really cleaning itself up too. We're getting away from the standard 9-to-5 job, and we're really seeing companies promote a very healthy balance between work life as well, and that helps attract talent. So we're definitely trying to utilize that to benefit the company.
That's amazing. So Carrie, you're working in an industry that many know to be like one of the most insular, right? Like you talk about silos, greenhouses have them. And so you're working in an industry that's really hard to convince people, hey, there's new technology out there and you should look at us as an emerging company to help, tackle some of your biggest challenges. How have you found that moving into this ecosystem?
That is the glass ceiling. I have been, I've taken 9 years to break, and this year I think we've broken it. So, business methodologies kind of trend, and I had to fight those methodologies, meaning the more you throw at something will stick at it. It just doesn't work. In our business, it's based on working with growers and owners who are primarily still wonderful farmers. And if anyone knows farmers, like I know I do from my family, they build their business on trust and relationships. So our job is to really dig in, find as much as we can out about these growers, and then go and make personal contact. It is knocking on doors, which is very challenging in 2024, almost 2025.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But I go around the world with the help of the government, who helps us with our trade commissioners to get us into different areas. And I go on my own personal trade missions. They help me with that. And I do knock on doors, and it works. So that's the challenge, is filling that gap from building a great product, people knowing about it, but getting through those doors. Certainly normally people don't just call you up and say, hey, we'd like to buy your software.
Of course, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, but it's a challenge that we've taken on. I see that we have a solution, and it's really making our business grow. And actually, now that I know that this is the way it works well, it's actually, I think, one of my favorite parts of being a business owner. I love meeting these people, as do my staff. So.
Yeah, I mean, you've really figured out a formula, I think, for getting through some of that early stage objection and letting them see kind of the value behind some of those, right?
Thank you, yeah.
I think when it comes to all of the industries that you're in, you're all managing risk for your customers, right? You have to de-risk the stuff that you're doing for them in order for them to see, I think, value behind it. So it's really interesting. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, maybe you heard, WEtech Alliance has teamed up with Libro to really bring this project or this program to a bigger level. And so over the next few years, we're going to be teaming up with the Federal Development Agency of Southwestern Ontario in partnership with Communitech, in partnership with McMaster University, Invest Ottawa, a couple other partners to really look at how do we create more scale companies in Ontario, and how do we take this funnel of amazing companies that we have in Windsor and Essex and make sure they're connected with the ecosystems where companies are really scaling at size and at speed. And so as part of that, we're kind of expanding this program into the Waterloo region as of next year. And that team up that we're doing with Libro makes that possible. They're matching those industry dollars. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the companies that are coming into this program. This program now lasts for 6 months. You get a team of mentors, which is a little bit different from when you were all as a part of it. But we've got companies that are going to be pitching this February for this 20K. And I want to get one piece of advice from each of you to the companies that are pitching, and one piece of advice to the companies that are thinking about joining ScaleUp in subsequent years. Does that sound good? Yeah. Awesome. Curtis, let's start with you. What would you say to a company that's pitching this February?
Work as hard as you can. Like there's nothing to lose. So just put everything that you can into the project. You're a scale up. So it's not stay status quo. It's not stay where you currently are. It's look ahead, look to the future, use technology. There's a lot of AI tools out there that'll help you build amazing pitches. Get out there, learn new technology, learn how that will impact your business, and then go for it.
Carrie, what do you think?
Well, for the people in the cohort for ScaleUp, I would say that the journey to climb the mountain is the prize, and that getting to the mountain will just make you want to climb another one anyway. So enjoy the ride. Know that every mistake you make is probably the best opportunity to learn something better. And that being a business owner is a lifestyle. It's not a role. It's not a job per se. It's not a title. It's good business owners know that they're working all the time there. And in terms of providing the pitch, be as authentic and as you possibly can to really find out what is the value of your business truly, and to whom, making sure you're really identifying who's going to use your product, why is this important to them, why would they buy it, right? And then pitch that. I think the judges would understand that in that way.
Amazing.
Yeah, first I want to say congrats on expanding the program. Like,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. I mean, those intangibles, I think, is what they just touched on. No one said go win this 20 grand. It's going to change your life. Money in any company is the gasoline. It's not the fire, right? So without those intangibles, Communitech with IP protection, all of the added exposure, I think is what's key. Like we use ScaleUp in every pitch meeting after ScaleUp as a mention of, oh, we won ScaleUp, as this is how we refined our pitch, right? Like
here's a badge,
we didn't
right?
just end up here, exactly. And then we won that innovation award shortly after. We mentioned ScaleUp to win the most innovative company in our region award. So we used those intangibles, whether it was exposure or actual, which there wasn't as much credit. So I'd like to get, can you introduce us to those companies?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, because Communitech's actually just offering us IP grant protection right now too. So they're a great agency to work with. But no, Carrie touched on the journey. We wouldn't be where we are if you didn't want to just keep climbing mountains. I think it's important not to go into ScaleUp like it's a project. And I think a lot of these people that are starting companies tackle things. They're task-based people if they're in technology, if they're recently academics or graduates or students, they tackle everything like a project. If you go in and tackle it like a project, you're probably not going to get from it what you want to get from it, which is build a company.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to connect the two. That's what we were doing the entire time we're in ScaleUp. We were connecting the dots. We weren't building a pitch for ScaleUp. We were building a pitch to get ready for our seed raise and planning those things in tandem. And it's not everyone's getting ready in ScaleUp for raise, right? But they're getting ready for something that they're presenting to you, whether it's growing a sales team, expanding our products to a global marketplace. If you're doing those things, that's what you should be talking about. And that's how you can be authentic, as Carrie mentioned as well.
For sure. Yeah, Carrie, I think just to build off what you said, this program is not even the mountain, right? Like the business yourself and what you're building, that's the mountain. We just hope to provide some Sherpas along the way, but really like the work that you're doing has to be consistent. It has to be, continued and that concerted effort that keeps going well beyond this program. And this program is merely just a stepping stone within that process. So I want to kind of end it there.
You're such a great Sherpa.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
I would climb a company mountain with you.
Oh man, we've got a great team for it. I am so immeasurably proud of each of you, everything you've accomplished, the fact that you're here in this region, continuing to make such an impact, working with new startups and giving them advice and meeting them with them whenever they have the opportunity or whenever you have the opportunity. I can't tell you how great you've been at being members of this community. And I'm so glad and proud to work with each and every one of you. And I truly mean that beyond this podcast, like just sincerely, thank you so much for bringing us along on your journey. And we can't wait to continue to see what you guys do. So
that's great.
That's great. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for your continued support. You're always there by the phone whenever I have a question. I truly appreciate that.
We always will be, right? That's why we exist. So.
And you're a great connector. So that's why we're all here.
Happy to do it. Yeah. All right, Tim. Well, thank you so much. And we'll see you in February at the pitch.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Amazing.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.